Difficult real estate transactions happen every day, and everybody has a different perspective, as we've learned over these segments with realtors throughout the year. But this conversation with David and Juli Jenkins, they talk about how their corporate background and experience allowed them to deal with the emotional and management side of the real estate business, not only with their clients, but also for their team. And if you're looking to scale your real estate business, you should check out this conversation with Juli and David Jenkins.
I know we talked in the last segment about y'all's experience in corporate America. Lauren and I talk about difficult real estate deals and how the real estate business in general can be difficult for a lot of different reasons, right? And what we had talked about before, which I'm excited to talk more about, is that the dynamics of dealing with people is going to be difficult, right? And you add another dynamic whenever you have a real estate team, because you have a solo agent come and talk about this, and they're dealing with just listing agents and buyers and sellers and property inspectors, but you have real estate team with other people on your team you have to deal with too, right? So there's a whole other aspect of the side of business that people bring. And so we talk about the DISC a lot, but I know there's a lot of other assessments that people use, and being at Keller Williams, use the KPA. So when it comes to dealing with the personalities and the emotional side of being a real estate agent, right, with the agents on your team and your transaction coordinators and things like that, how do y'all manage that within the world of Juli Jenkins' team?
You always have the goal in mind.
Mm-hmm.
The goal is to get to the closing table.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so there's going to be a lot of challenges, but it has to be collaborative the whole way through. If you get, and that's where you're talking about the difficult scenario, that's where somebody's either not being collaborative or they're closed-minded and you're not giving them a solution that they can make work in their own mind. So there's not just one solution.
We got to stop on that. A solution that they can't make work in their own mind.
Correct.
So you have to, as a leader, expand that vision for
Correct.
them and give them that knowledge.
I'm all about put up a brick wall. Great. I'm going to knock it down. I'm going to put a window in it. I'm going to go around it. I'm going to put a door. Which way you want to go. But that wall is just there for me to climb. Like, I mean, whatever. So I love when people tell me, no, I can't do something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you just fueled my tank because I'm going to come at you now. So, like, that's what I think is there is a way to do it. You just can't get it done. But that didn't mean I can't.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of problems. And like, I am the go-to, this has happened and what do I do? And I'm the resource for a lot of the KW agents because they're like, this is what's happened. I'm like, okay, let's back up. Let's talk about this. Let's gather the information. So I seek to understand. Let's seek to understand and then find a solution.
Yeah.
Okay. But if that person can't provide the solution, then find somebody else who can.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where aligning yourself with a strong, I guess, business partners. And there's just a team of people that do what you do and do what I do. I mean, it takes that alliance.
Yeah, well, we had a conversation at 10 o'clock the other night about a client who had something happen, and it's we like to say that we're never going to tell you no.
Never know.
But you might not like the yes answer I'm going to give you. The what it takes to get to this yes might be difficult. You might not like it, but I'm never going to tell you no. There's always going to be a way forward. We're just going to have to work through it. But you always say something about there's the emotional side of business that you can't just put to the side, right? You've got to deal with that.
I always say that, people that say you cannot have emotion in business are just foolish because people are in business. It's simply that you make decisions based on facts. You can deliver it with emotion and you have to because you're dealing with people. So you say seek to understand, be empathetic to the issue, but train them to identify the problem, give you the data that allows you to make the best decision so that everybody can move forward.
That's what I'm telling you. Like, you don't have to like my answer, but it is the answer. Okay. And so like, that's where, yes, I can deliver it with, like David says, I'm not a rah-rah girl. I am the high D. I'm direct. I'm going to get you where you need to go. I may not be the agent for everybody, but I'm okay with that.
Right.
So like, again, I'm a package deal. My means of communication, ultimately, I have your best interest at heart. I am going to get you to the table. We just have to get there together and there may be some deviations and there will be some turns in the road, but like, I'm still trying to get you where you want to go.
Yeah.
Right. And I think people in the industry ultimately love that you're taking control because they look at this as an emotional or a risk scenario that they're unfamiliar with. So if you can be direct, set
That's a
clear
buyer
expectations-
and a seller perspective, but that other agent may not.
Correct.
And so sometimes the agent is the other issue.
Right.
And so again,
And you have to be on the same team because
you're trying,
Yeah,
right?
same goal,
But I
same
think
closing
that's the
table.
other, like I have that, oh my God, I'm doing a deal with Juli Jenkins. Like there's an intimidation factor. I'm like, you've never done a deal with me before. So like, how am I intimidating? Like, I mean, like when you talk with me, talk to me. Like I can talk to you.
And the best part of working with you is you're not going to hide your emotion. You're not going to question whether Juli is frustrated or she's excited or she's content with what's going on. You're going to tell everybody, which to me is a relief because you know what
Where you stand.
know where you stand. And I think that people sometimes too they don't take control of the situation and give the confidence to their client. It's probably because they're not confident in their ability. But I've seen people say, well, my client really wants this, even though we all know it's not the right thing to do. And they don't have the courage to give the client
the advice.
the advice and tell them which way to go.
But that's where we are today.
Yeah.
And that's a skills-based business. And that is part of it, is agents being able to establish expectations for their clients on both sides of the transaction. And if you were able to actually establish and know how to set these expectations, we would get more deals done.
100%.
And so like we're seeing this buyer and seller market right now. I've never seen so many cancellations.
So PSA, is that what we're doing? A PSA?
Well, I'm just saying.
Expectation.
Yeah.
Get it from Juli.
I mean, I just, seek it in yourself. Like, but I mean, you have to manage the expectations. And so that is communication.
Yeah. And you
It is an operating system. I mean, I'm sure David will agree to that. Like that is the entire point of an operating system is for you to have such confidence and awareness in your system that you can communicate it clearly to the client so that everybody knows what's coming.
yeah.
They don't have to like it.
No.
And I mean, like, again, the market shifts so quickly and people are still like, they still think that they can get what they can get 3 years ago.
Right.
That's not where we are.
And you said it so, and you said it so simply at the beginning of this, but I do, if you think about it, at the end of the day, like how often, and you said there's a lot of cancellations, there is, but how often does a contract not just get to the closing table and sign? Now, the experience from the beginning to the end can be miserable and hard because everybody wants to fight it and not work together to get the deal done, or we can all work together to solve the problem and ultimately get where we're going to go anyway. And, you're right. And I think that communication is important too. And it's clear when somebody doesn't truly understand it well because they can't communicate it so simply that anybody can understand it, right? Like these are the small steps that have to be taken. I had a deal the other day where a guy wanted to buy a property for his kids. But he was going to pay cash and then his kids were going to then buy it from him and he was going to give him a note mortgage, right? Simple. Well, his ability to finance to his children was going to be contingent on him selling a farm in another state. So he wanted to make an offer from his kids that was contingent on him selling his farm. I'm like, you can't present that. That's not going to look great on paper to a seller. They're going to say, so wait, I'm selling to this person contingent on this other person sale. I'm like, you need to be the buyer, dad, and you need to have a cash offer contingent on the sale of your farm. Because if that works out, it's great. And then we can assign the rights to your kids.
That's right.
And your kids step into your shoes and then in that assignment of contract.
We'll
and
do
when I
mortgage.
first started talking to him, he was just like, nope, not buying it. I'm like, hold on. Give me a second, I'm going to explain it to you, right? And after I started explaining it to him simply enough and clearly enough, the steps, he completely backed down and was open to the idea, right? And
Were you
so
pleasantly persistent?
I was
Jared?
super persistent because I was supposed to be in another meeting, and I'm like, I'm not going in that room until this man sees this brick wall that he has cut with a window, like you said, and a door right here and a rope going over the top of the wall. Like I'm about to show him how this is done, and he signed it, and it worked out. But yeah, it's just. You have to be clear and you've got to know that you have the ability to solve the problem and confident and then just give them the solution and run through it.
Have you ever heard me say this is like making sausage?
No.
This process is like making sausage. There's a whole lot of pieces and parts. And we don't always know what's coming in the sausage, right? But I mean, you think about it. There's lenders, there's title, there's insurance, there's this, there's that. All this has to come in. And we have to come out on the other side, right? So sometimes it ain't pretty. that is not a pretty process. I don't know that I want to watch it, but I like and I enjoy the end product.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the thing. That's the same with real estate. And like, I think that's part of it too, is some of these things are out of our control. I'm working with a lender now that I don't know out of New York and doesn't answer the phone, won't return the title company, isn't doing this, isn't doing that. And I'm like, this is why I beg clients to work with local. I'm like, when this doesn't happen, I can get my hand around their neck. Right.
No,
but I'm like,
sure. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like something, but we're 2 months past the deadline. And I'm like, they don't have to grant you an extension. So you can let the lender know they're going to effectively make your kids homeless because that's not on me. Okay. That's on you. And those people have no sense of urgency. And that's where like we understand the urgency and we can explain it. But when the other pieces and parts of it are not sharing in that, oh man, that fires me up.